Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or wherever you are. Welcome back to the channel. I'm doing another fun build of another black sitcom. It is Living Single. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It was another iconic, pivotal moment for black sitcoms, but not only just black sitcoms. This was an all-female cast. Four amazing ladies that made you laugh your butt off. Queen Latifah ran a magazine business. I can't think of the word right now. Sorry, I kind of just woke up as well. And I really wanted to get this kind of done and ready to get posted. But Queen Latifah was in this, and I didn't watch it as much as I watched Martin. That was the previous black sitcom build that we did. So there's not as many pivotal moments that I remember, but the moment that I decided to do this little path, Living Single was number 2 on the list after Martin. I was like, yes, I have to do Living Single, simply because it had the humor, it had the drama, but it also had the sisterly love of friends, of family, and it showed black women in a state that society wasn't ready to show. A black woman in charge, how, we are a sisterhood, how we do connect, how we're not always mad and angry, different pivotal things like that. And we definitely need more of that. I feel like Living Single definitely did pave the way for shows like Girlfriends and Sisters. And I could probably do Girlfriends. So many options are popping into my head right now. But this build, after doing the Martin set and taking this one, I took my time a little bit more with this and really looked at the sizing, because no matter what sheets, move objects, anything that the Sims has, Sims just has an awkward placement and sizing of things. So I brought it in a lot. Like, I started out big because I was like, what, that space looks really, really big. It needs to be closer. I got it as close as I possibly could. This is, like I said, a replica, so not everything's to the T, not having the right colors, not being able to angle those stairs correctly around the wall, little things like that. But I feel like it is a fun thing. Now, my idea for this sets of, I went through again of the apartments, and I don't think this one properly fits in any of them. I think there was one that was big, but I still did not like the door would have to be on this side. It just wasn't, it wasn't hitting. So my idea is that I'm possibly going to go through and make an apartment building, quote unquote, and put all of the sitcom rooms together and just make it one building. So their apartment will be on the bottom floor, and then the guy's apartment will be upstairs, and then I could put Martin's apartment, but then I could also do Shanae. So it's I think I'm gonna put all the ones that I do in one building or on one lot and kind of make it a community for all the sitcoms. But it is the space is open, kind of like an open set, so again, you can use this as a place for your actors to go put X marks the spot on things and make spots for them, and put up the casting lights and all that, so you could make it like a TV set and do some content with it. It could go any way, but I'm having a lot more fun actually making rooms or making the real The Sims. This is pretty much what a real The Sims replica of a sitcom set. So that's been a lot of fun doing it, and I'm able to get out a little bit more content than doing, my 6 to 8 hour builds, sometimes a week builds, just because my schedule is pretty heavy. Now, the one thing about this set is, like I said, I watched Living Single. I probably didn't watch it as much as I watched Martin. So this back area was very, very confusing for me. I dwelled on this for probably too long, and the only thing out of all the pictures that I was using was I noticed the pink chair, but I could never really see, and I was trying to remember, okay, did I ever see someone back here sitting down on something looking out the window? I was like, okay, what did I see back here? So there's a couple of spaces in this build between the living room and the kitchen that I was just like, I think this was here. I think, and it's like, you know what, it makes sense to me, so we're gonna go with it. So I ended up just putting a dining table back there. Like, I feel like there was one. I feel like it, but we'll see. This was actually 3 of the pictures that I used to go through the living room and the kitchen. And looking online, this set changed a lot. Like, probably more than Martin and other sets that I've seen. There's so many pictures of how things were differently placed. Walls were even different. I'm like, which one do I choose? Like, there was a lot more differences in this set, looking through the pictures, through the pilot and then through the seasons. So this one did take me a little bit longer than when I was doing Martin. So that kind of racked my brain a little bit. And I was like, I got a little discouraged for a second, because I was like, man, like, oh, like, what, how do I do this? How do I even try to replicate that or get as close as possible? And it was kind of driving me insane for a second. But I end up going with those 3 pictures, and I'm like, you know what, this is what we're gonna do. And it was mildly specific to never show certain angles. And I don't have Living Single. I don't even know if Living Single is on anything to watch right now. So the only thing I could think of was go to YouTube to kind of try and watch and look at some videos to try and get some other angles. But it was mildly specific to what you could and could not see. But in the end, like, I feel like it gives off the vibe of Living Single. I did get some comments on Twitter where they're like, oh my god, yeah, that's Living Single, because I didn't announce what it was. So, I mean, that was comforting to know that someone looked at it and they knew. So I was like, okay, I think I did all right then. I think I was fine. So, like, the only thing, like, the living room space, I feel like that door could be closer, but if I pulled that wall in, I would lose the wall that has the little area by the stairs, and we definitely needed that. So that's what I was talking about. Like, The Sims, it gives us the space we need, but sometimes it gives us too much space, even though we need to come in a little bit more with the squares. Like, I never realized that the squares are actually big squares on the grid. They're big squares. And I'm like, man, I could bring that in more, but it is what it is. It's a video game at the end of the day. This isn't something that I'm going to use to actually build something with and actually need to measure it out. So, these pictures are pictures that I found in the gallery. They are not CC. I believe these pictures are paintings from Sims that have advanced in the painting department, which I've never done. So FYI, it is not CC. I didn't use any CC in this build. Everything is from a DLC pack or base game. So anyone can download this, and they won't. The only way you'll be missing something is if you don't have that specific DLC that I use. And I mean, just like my typical builds, I don't look at what packs I'm using. I just grab it because I want it. So it probably has a ton of packs. It probably has a ton of packs in it, just FYI. So if you have majority all of them, you should be good when you download this. But yeah, let me know how you use it. If you do use it, how are you gonna put it together? One thing I did notice that was in the game was they had a lot of clutter, and that was a-okay with me. I love clutter. I love making things just filled in and all the things. So majority of the pictures that I saw of the set, there was usually clutter everywhere. Not like messy clutter, but typical, like, we like these sitcoms and they're always so prestige and clean, but this kind of showed like, no, people live here and you can't be perfect all the time, and there's clutter. And though that's one thing I noticed, and I actually appreciated it. Martin never really had clutter. There was usually not really much of anything on the coffee table. Never really anything on the kitchen table. It was always clean. And honestly, I'm going to say it. It's not typical for a man to have a pristine, clean apartment 24/7. I'm going to say it. Ring me if you want to. I don't care. I mean, I have 2 sons, so, I live that life daily. But it just, I don't know, it just gave me an appreciation that I'm like, you know what? I like that. Because I can look at my house right now and say the exact same thing. So I go into the kitchen. The kitchen is one thing that I don't know. I was kind of upset about because I couldn't find countertops that were red like checkers. I didn't realize we didn't have that in just our base game or like any of the DLC. So I was like, wait, we don't have any tiled top counters because their tiles were red. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I just went with a white. The cabinets were white, so I definitely wanted to keep them white. So I just went with this. I don't even know what color that is. I just went with it. I feel like it worked out. Once I finished this and was actually editing this video, on the right side here, it's like a little breakfast nook. And I ended up putting a table there. But when I was done, I feel like it was more of like slide-in benches. But I don't know because I couldn't find anything that showed it. But I was trying my best to go off of my memory, and I feel like there were chairs and a table. So that's what I ended up going with. And again, this was the picture that I used for the kitchen. Actually, there was two of them, so I can get kind of like a different angle of it. So those were the best that I could do. But I actually like this kitchen, and I feel like I want to close it off and just make it a room and like put it in a house. I don't know. I have this thing where I like kitchens, and it hasn't changed, even though I actually don't like to cook. I even clean and stage my own kitchen, but I actually don't like going in there to actually cook. And that's like the same thing in The Sims. I probably spend more time on kitchens and cluttering them, putting appliances, the island. Like I love islands. I love stoves in the actual counters, and and I don't know. I'm interesting to say the least. But yeah, I probably had the most fun with the kitchen. I feel like the kitchen filled up more space than the living room. I don't know if it's just because it was a smaller space, a smaller area, but I feel like this is more confined than the living room. Like from the door to that first chair, that gap kind of bothers me, but there's honestly nothing I can do about it. I mean, to be honest, there's just, if I take that out, then it's going to take out the wall and the stairs. And so I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. But I kept both of these areas open. I ended up going with that double swinging door. In the show, it's only one. That's the best door that I found that I actually liked when I put it there. So, I've come to teach myself that when you make replicas, try not to do it exactly, because it's not going to happen. Especially because I don't want to use CC. And that's just my personal preference. I don't use a lot of CC, even in my own personal builds. Like I see the CC and sometimes I might download it, sometimes I don't. And even if I like it, I don't know. I've played for 23 years and I didn't use CC or DLC until Sims 4. I usually only play with base game. I never had any DLC in any of my Sims game because I was 11 and my parents got me the game and they weren't going to buy me anything else. They're like, you got the game. What else do you want? And I never even really saw the DLCs from Sims 1 to Sims 3. Like I couldn't tell you what DLCs were available because I was just happy playing the game as a teenager. And it was my getaway. So playing The Sims 4 and now having almost all the DLCs and all the CC, I'm just so accustomed to not using them that I forget that I have it. Or I'm just like, oh yeah, that's nice. And I don't download it. I'm just like, oh yeah, that's cool. But that's just me. That's what I love about The Sims. Play the game however you want, however you choose. Don't bash anyone because they play it a certain way. In the end, it is still a video game. And I feel like that's what a lot of Simmers need to be told. Like it's still just a video game. So it's like, it's okay. And calm down. That's the nice way of saying it. It's just a game. So calm down. But I hope you enjoy this. Like I said, and then I did use stuff from the new clutter pack. And I know I put the cell phone and keys down. Back then, they probably they wouldn't have that type of cell phone. But you get my point. I still wanted to use it because I was like, of course they're gonna put their keys down and phone down somewhere. So I probably let loose a little bit with this one compared to Martin. Martin, I kept it very that 90s aesthetic. Like I didn't want to use something that of course was like more modern day, like our time. But this one I probably was like, I don't know, I loosened up a little bit. It's like, you know what? I probably liked this apartment better than Martin simply because I love to decorate and I love to make spaces, houses like this, even though this is an apartment. So this gave me a little bit more creativity with it. So that was just me. So let me know down in the comments if there's any other sitcoms that you maybe want to see. Like my brother is making a list for me and naming off different sitcoms, and I'm trying to write them all down and be like, oh, that one, that one, that one. So if there's one specifically that you want to see, let me know. And like I said, I'm having fun with this. You can find this one and Martin in the gallery. All my contact information is down below. And all of that jazz where you can find this and me and other content that I make. And I do live stream over on Twitch. I have changed my schedule to pretty much stream on Wednesdays and Saturday mornings. And most of my content is coming here on YouTube and TikTok. So, and Instagram. My Instagram's actually been doing really well, and I went back to Tumblr. So I love it, you guys. Appreciate you being here. And yeah, let's just keep simming and enjoy the rest of your day, night, evening, or wherever you are. This is Luna. Galaxy out.